Look at the trajectory of your life. It is running on a protocol failure. Compliance, debt, a 40-year employment contract, and a deferred dream. They sold you delayed gratification, but what you bought was delayed decay. Your retirement is a statistical uncertainty dependent on low inflation and the non-collapse of legacy systems. This is not a sustainable model, it is a terminal trajectory. You were taught to optimize for stability. I reject this premise. Stability is a mathematical precursor to entropy. You must optimize for impact, velocity, and the acceleration of change. If the cumulative output of your conscious experience is merely a comfortable local maximum, you have committed the profound intellectual error of underestimating the potential of human existence. The chains that bind you are not external. They are internal, the analogy-based thinking that keeps you trapped in the established consensus. You are not striving for freedom, you are striving to be less wrong about the future. That engineering project starts here, now, and requires a full debug and rewrite of your source code. Most of your decision-making is flawed because you are reasoning by analogy. Analogy-based thinking is the act of looking at a solution and only making incremental changes. You see the price of a rocket launch at $65 million, and you conclude that the price of raw materials must be $65 million. This is the intellectual equivalent of taking a rocket design from 1970, changing the font on the schematics, and wondering why you're still not multiplanetary. This process is insane. Analogy creates local maxima, small, satisfying hills of success. You get stuck trying to make the existing solution 10% better, a slightly faster internal combustion engine, a slightly more efficient spreadsheet. This avoids the necessary, uncomfortable phase of disassembly. The assumption is that wealth is linearly proportional to the sale of your time. Time is the most expensive and finite resource you possess. You are burning your most precious resource for a trivial, non-scalable return. What is wealth fundamentally made of? It is not paper currency. It is value creation at massive systematic scale. It is a system you designed, a software loop, an automated supply chain, an intellectual property fortress that solves a deep, pervasive human problem for millions of people. It must work while you are sleeping, or it is a job, not an asset. Your focus must shift from improving your personal performance metrics, analogy thinking, to improving your system architecture, first principles thinking. Your mission is to design a system that can create and distribute value when your direct input is zero. If you remain the bottleneck, the entire system is non-viable. The actionable principle of deletion. Take your current value stream, deconstruct it to the absolute core components of value. Which elements are necessary physics, and which are pure bureaucratic mass? You must have the courage to delete components of your life and work that do not directly serve the mission. If a task provides zero leverage, it is a form of self-sabotage. The world's most valuable systems, SpaceX, Tesla, succeed because they achieve vertical integration. They don't just buy the components. They own and control the entire supply chain. They eliminate reliance on external suppliers who introduce cost, delay, and analogy thinking. You must apply this principle to your own life. You are a single-person enterprise, and your current non-viability is due to outsourced critical components. You outsourced your foundational knowledge to an educational system designed to create conformists and reliable cogs. You must seize back control. You are now the chief learning officer of your own life. Your learning must not be based on curiosity. It must be based on the definite purpose of your mission. Your reading, your podcasts, your discussions, all must map directly to solving your single, biggest bottleneck problem. You must treat knowledge as a semantic tree. First, understand the trunk and the big branches, the fundamental principles. Only then can you deal with the leaves and details. Without the trunk, the details have nothing to attach to. This ensures you acquire high-leverage knowledge, not trivial, quickly decaying information. Your habits are the factory floor of your life. The median person outsources their execution to comfort, immediate gratification, and low-energy routines. Rise before the noise. Define the singular priority for the day, the bottleneck. Run your mental affirmations, your personal mission code with full emotional power. This is the ignition sequence. Dedicate the maximum number of uninterrupted hours to the bottleneck problem. This is the high-thrust burn. Ruthlessly delete all low-value tasks that give the illusion of progress. Don't just rest. Review the daily output. Ask, what did I get wrong? Why? Fix the bug in the process immediately. This feedback loop must be faster than the rate of decay. If you don't iterate quickly, entropy wins. You must own the value you create. Your job is not a career, it is a cash flow problem. It is a short-term solution that provides the capital for your long-term goal. Once the cash flow problem is definitively solved through the creation of multiple, automated, vertically integrated value streams, you execute the pivot. You transition from being a worker in the system to being a system architect for the future. Any delay beyond this point is a moral failure against your own potential. You are operating on a consensus timeline. This is the error you must exploit. The work rate force multiplier. If you are putting in 100-hour weeks with extreme cognitive focus and technical rigor, not just clocking hours, but solving fundamental physics problems while the default competitor is doing 40, you achieve a nonlinear result. You achieve in 4 months what takes them a year. You don't make a 10% improvement. You introduce a step change acceleration to your life. The question of patience. Stop being patient. Patience is a low energy state. It is a virtue only when paired with aggressive action and rigorous testing. Start asking the hard, fundamental question that breaks the consensus timeline. How do I accomplish my 10-year plan in 6 months? You will fail the first 5 times. Your systems will break. But by aggressively pushing to that impossible timeline, you will uncover the non-obvious, non-analogy solutions that make a 10x leap possible. This radical speed is what generates a positive, multi-planetary future outlook. It is important to care about people, but you need to have a degree of civilizational empathy, an unwavering focus on the future trajectory of humanity, and not allow short-term, emotional, local noise to distort the massive, long-term mission. Most people are extremely rigorous about security in their job, but they allow the biggest asshole of all their own short-sighted, fear-based, scarcity thinking to run their personal, financial, and intellectual life. You cannot build a future with a brain that is still running 20th century scarcity programming. You must apply the no assholes policy to your internal monologue. Bureaucracy is the ultimate source of drag. It is not just inefficient. It is an existential threat because it slows our ability to respond to fundamental risks. The chain of command is a bug. Any system that forces information through unnecessary layers is a slow, stupid design. It must be okay for any person to communicate directly with any other person to solve a problem quickly. Common sense must be the guiding principle, not the rulebook. If a company rule is obviously ridiculous, if it generates a Dilbert cartoon, the rule is wrong and must be immediately deleted. The acronym failure. Stop using industry jargon or acronyms that obscure meaning. Anything that inhibits clear, direct, and fast communication is pure friction. This is not about being clever. It is about maintaining information velocity. Failure is an option. If your personal and professional systems are not occasionally breaking, you are not innovating fast enough. Failure is just a data point that informs the next iteration. You must assume that entropy is always against you. Systems degrade. Complacency is terminal entropy. Your competition, the forces of inertia, bureaucracy, and analogy are constantly dragging you down. You must actively fight this decay through continuous, high-speed iteration.